Justin from Justin's Orchids and More, and today I'm going to be a part of this care collaboration video. The title is Seedlings, General Care and Troubleshooting. Now, I would like to say that I really like what Nina from Ninja Orchids is doing with these care collaboration videos. I think you know, it's a good thing. I enjoy watching the videos. I learn a lot from the way other people grow orchids in different areas of the world. So I enjoy it. And you know, I'm looking on this list right now, and I can see there's some good growers that's on this care collab. And a couple of them are actually my YouTube friends, my orchid YouTube friends. And you know, so I really want you guys to watch this video, but also go check these other care collabs out, because I think it's going to be a good thing. I know I'm going to enjoy it. Now, what I really want to talk about real quick, tomorrow is Mother's Day. And, you know, I think in this day and age, mothers, they don't get enough credit. They really don't. I can tell you from growing up and being a twin, I have a twin sister, and my dad left when I was 2. Now, my mom had to work a full-time job, and, you know, she had to work a full-time job and then come home to a full-time job, raising not only one kid, but 2 kids at one time. And I don't know how she done it. And I can honestly tell you, to this day, I would not be here if it wasn't for my mom. So go out and get your mom a card, buy her a flower, you know, call her and tell her how much you love her, okay? Because you only got one mom in this world. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to wish every mother out there a happy Mother's Day. Okay, everyone, I'm back. What I want to do before I start the video is I want to put a list up of all the other people that are doing this care collaboration on general care of seedlings and troubleshooting. I think these are going to be some good videos. These are some good growers, and you know, I really want you to watch my video, but I want you to go check out these other videos from these other orchid growers, because I think it's going to be a good thing, and I know I'm ready to watch them. Now, what I want to talk about, I'm not going to really throw pictures up or throw tags up of these orchids and this and that. I really just want to talk about general seed care, growing seedlings, you know, this and that. And I want to touch on 2 points at the end of the video that I want, you know, you guys to remember. And I think that these 2 points are going to be the main thing that's going to help you have success as far as growing seedlings. Now, in my environment, I grow in a greenhouse or a grow tent, whatever you want to call it. I grow under lights. I can control the humidity, lighting, temperature, you know, feeding, whatnot. And, you know, I want to play out a scenario for you. So let's say that you're shopping on eBay, or you're looking on some, you know, orchid seller's page or whatever, and you see a plant, and you know, it's a seedling and it's for a good price. It's like 15 or 20 bucks, maybe 30 bucks, you know, and you see the big picture of the pretty flower, and you're like, wow, you know, that's cheap. You know, I can afford that. NBS, oh, I know what NBS means. That means near blooming size. And you think, oh, near blooming size, beautiful fragrant flowers. It'll be blooming soon, 20 bucks. Buy it now, okay? And so, you know, you're happy, and then you get, you know, you wait for it, and then you get in the mail, you open the box up, and then you get something like this. And, you know, this is a Phalaenopsis, and, you know, you didn't do your research or whatever, you just seen a pretty flower, and you've seen it was just near blooming size, and you buy it, and then, you know, you're stuck with this. Now, this is why this video is just, it's crazy, because there's no particular subject of where you grow. But let's just say that, you know, you're growing by a windowsill, and you have 4 or 5 orchids that you've grown, and they're growing good in their pots, and they're big, and you know, when you get this, and you get it on a slab like this, a piece of wood, and you know, you think, well, what can I do with that? You know, obviously, if you take this orchid and you put it on that, you know, that window beside all your other plants that are established and used to the growing environment that you have, you know, it could be hit or miss. You know, especially, you know, you have to think about a lot of different things as far as conditions and where you grow. Now, I can tell you that I got this plant probably 6 months ago, and it was actually a lot smaller, and it didn't have this root system. But growing in my greenhouse, what I did, because I have high humidity and I can control it, I put it in an area where with growing seedlings, you have to introduce it to your environment. And so I put it down low, and I would slowly bring it up closer to the light, and I went back and I added sphagnum moss, and it seems to be growing well. It seems to be doing fine for me, and eventually I'll take it off the mount. Now near blooming size. Now obviously this plant is not near blooming size. If I had to guess, I don't know, I would say this Phalaenopsis is maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, maybe a year and a half, and that's if I give it everything that it needs and I have no problems. There's no issues, no problems. This plant might be blooming for me, and I give it everything that it needs, perfect conditions and everything it needs. It might bloom for me in maybe 2 years. Okay, but you know what? Perfect conditions are not always the case. You're going to run into problems. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to give it the perfect conditions that it requires. Something's going to go wrong. Might set the plant back. So with seedlings in general, you have to baby them. I mean, they're seedlings. I mean, obviously, I'll show you. All right, so you got this Phalaenopsis right here. Now, this is a blooming size Phalaenopsis, okay? And you got this one right here. Now, if you were to take these two plants and put them in the same location, okay, whether it be in that bright sunny window or in that greenhouse, obviously, if something goes wrong and, conditions are not met for these Phalaenopsis to grow, 9 times out of 10, the seedling is going to show you first what's going on, because she's going to be not happy. She'll be dropping leaves or whatnot. Okay, so you have to, when it comes to growing orchid seedlings, you have to just pay attention to them. You have to, introduce them to your environment. Don't give them as much fertilizer as you would. I don't feed this one as heavy as I feed this one. So you just have to be careful. And that's just one scenario. Now I can tell you, for me, growing seedlings in my greenhouse, Phalaenopsis are easier for me to grow. They just are. With the humidity, they take well to humidity, the bright light. Now this Cattleya that I got, this is a seedling, I got it from Todd's Tropicals. For me, I'll tell you that Cattleyas, as far as Cattleya seedlings, they're easier to grow for me. It just seems like that they take well. I know that they'll be in bark. This one that I got from him, I probably got maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's doing fine. Cattleya seedlings just seem to, they seem to do well in any environment. Give them enough water, make sure they get enough light. But you need to slowly introduce all these things to the plant. Now, growing in my greenhouse, I like growing Cattleya seedlings. Now, the hardest seedlings for me to grow in my greenhouse are bulbophyllums. And, it's just for different reasons. Everybody grows things different. But, I've cranked up the humidity in my greenhouse. With this bulbophyllum, I have put it in an area where it gets good, bright, indirect light in my greenhouse. And since I've had it, I've been able to look at this nice new growth here. Now I don't feed it as heavy as I do my other plants. I kind of every once in a week, I mix up a small, just a low quantity of fertilizer per gallon of water, and I feed my seedlings. And I think this one's doing fine. It's doing well. But what I really want to tell you, as far as growing seedlings, there's 2 key points that you got to think about. You've got to know your growing environment. Whether you grow in a greenhouse, whether you grow outside under a shade cloth, whether you grow by a windowsill, know your growing environment. Know what kind of light you give, what kind of light the orchids give, whether it be in the morning sun, evening sun, under lights. Know your area. Know what kind of humidity you're running in the area that you grow your orchids in. You know, maybe you grow in an area where the humidity is low. Maybe you grow where the humidity is high. You know, and think about those things. And then think about temperature. Think about the temperature in your environment that you're growing in. Maybe you grow in an area that's really hot. I know in my greenhouse, you know, I grow intermediate to warm to hot, okay? Because that's just the way my setup is. So, you know, just know your environment. And then on top of that, do research on the seedlings that you want to buy or you have. Look up where it comes from in the world. Look up if it likes high humidity. You know, look up, you know, if it's a cool grower or hot grower. I can tell you that when it comes to buying orchids, it's only going to take you a few times of buying a seedling where you're paying $20, $30, $60 for a plant plus shipping to only put it in an environment that you're growing in, you know, in a week or two, it's dropping leaves, it's shriveling up, the roots are dying. You know, you're going to start paying attention to what you can grow and what you can't grow in your environment. And once you do that, you know, you'll get better as a grower, because then once you know your growing environment, you can look at a plant and say, okay, well, you know, yes, this plant is it might be a cool grower, but at the same time, you know, I know my growing environment, and maybe I can do this or that and change it to where this plant might actually, you know, do well in your environment. Maybe you need to repot it. Maybe you need to take it out of sphagnum moss and put it in bark. Or maybe you need to take it off of a mount and throw it in a pot. You know, so my 2 points on growing seedlings is just in general. Know your environment, you know, temperature, humidity, lighting, whatever, and do research on the plant that you have or the plant that you're buying. And, you know, then you won't be, you know, you might not necessarily be wanting to have troubleshooting issues, because, you know, you'll know that plant when you get it. You say, okay, well, you know, I already know right off the bat, if I bought this plant, I'm going to have problems because it's a cool grower and I'm putting it into an area that my temperatures are very high. So just pay attention to, you know, your environment and the plant's environment that you want to have or that you're growing. And that, you know, that's about all I can give advice on as far as growing seedlings. It's all about trial and error. So, you know, just do your research, just know your growing environment, and that's it for me. That's all I have to say about growing seedlings. I hope you guys have a good day. Please go check out those other YouTube channels. The care collaboration should be good. I'll see you on the next one.